Good Thursday morning. Here's a moment with Dr. Lila. Pray that your week is going fabulous as we are well into the summer months. And I'm not sure what region you're in, but I'm also hoping that you are staying hydrated. Yes, I understand that heat waves are taking place in many different regions of the country and quite frankly, even the world. So I hope that you're staying hydrated physically and as well as spiritually. So listen, as I come into the space today, I'm going to continue with speaking about things that are destructive to intimacy in the marriage relationship. Things that cause us great harm or things that impede or disrupt a couple's ability to experience wholesome sexual intimacy is the way that I like to speak about it in the marriage. We have thus far talked about ignorance, how having a lack of knowledge puts you at a disadvantage. It can cause pain, it can cause frustration, that when you're lacking information around sex, that can cause harm, or when you're bringing in mindsets that damages the way that you are connecting or aim to connect with your spouse, it can cause great frustration as well. And in week 2, we spoke about pain. I spent most of the time speaking about emotional pain, how emotional pain disrupts intimacy. And then in week 3, we went forward with identifying how physical pain that manifests in a way sometimes of experiencing sexual dysfunctions is something else that's very harmful and can cause frustration and can disrupt intimacy. And of course, last week we weren't here because it was the 4th of July. So today, what's really on my mind is how trauma, I'm not going to be speaking about trauma directly, but I am going to be speaking about it in the sense that how trauma can cause a person to have negative thoughts about themselves. It can cause a person to begin to see themselves in the world and others that they look out to as not being safe individuals. And it can also, again, interfere with the way that you think about yourself, the way that you feel about yourself, and the perception that you have about your sexual image. So this is where I'm going to be, spending a few more minutes discussing on today is about the sexual image, your sexual image, how you perceive yourself as a sexual being, how you think about your sexual image, how you think about your body, how those things have a direct impact on your ability to be able to experience wholesome sexual intimacy. Now here's the thing. We understand that trauma can have far-reaching impact. But that's not, again, something that is true for everybody. More so for individuals who have PTSD because of the trauma that they have experienced. And research says to us that for those who have reported that they have experienced trauma, there's about 25% of those individuals who experience PTSD. Now, there's also another category of individuals that I would like to highlight is those individuals who have experienced sexual trauma are oftentimes more challenged with embracing their sexuality. Individuals who have been traumatized sexually by maybe the form of sexual assault, which also includes being raped, molested, which also maybe individuals who have been sexualized early in life, those individuals are oftentimes challenged with how they view themselves. They are not always comfortable, and I say always, no one is always, but more often than not, they are experiencing discomfort in their own body. More often than not, they exhibit a higher degree of anxiety around sex. And more often than not, they are usually having to navigate and move through background noise while they are engaging sexually. And for some individuals, excuse me, they are not fully present emotionally. They're present physically during sex, but not so much emotionally. You know, we have individuals who disassociate, which means that they disconnect mentally and emotionally, that their body are there, but sometimes their mind has been moved over into, quote unquote, another world. So they're not fully present. And in these cases, their partner is aware of that. They're aware that the person is present, but they are not fully present. And another thing that happens with such individuals, that they are experiencing high degree of shame. And sometimes that shame makes it very difficult for them to be able to experience an erection or an orgasm. So they're not fully, again, engaging, not fully present, and not fully enjoying the sexual experience. The way that a woman, as well as a male, whether or not they embrace their bodies, whether or not they embrace their sexual thoughts, whether or not they embrace their partner, plays a major role in their ability to be able to fully engage sexually. So, what's the antidote for these things? First, I encourage you to start with a self-assessment. I would encourage you to spend some time thinking about your experience. Spend some time thinking about how do you show up in the bedroom, or how do you show up sexually with your mate. I would encourage you to, as you're spending time thinking about it, to replay your last few sexual encounters and put the telescope or put the microscope on yourself. Not your partner, but put the microscope on yourself and ask yourself what was taking place for you. Not just outwardly. We find truth when we're willing to go inwardly, asking ourselves deeper questions about what was I thinking, what was I feeling. Asking those questions can lead you to truth. Truth is stored, is housed, as well as lies and unbeliefs and misconceptions. They are all housed in our innermost being. So we find truth not outwardly, we find truth by going inwardly. So as you make the decision to go inwardly, I encourage you to be honest with yourself, but also ask yourself this question. Are you experiencing freedom? Are you experiencing liberty in your interaction with your mate And if the answer to that is yes, yes, I celebrate you. But if the answer to that question is that you're experiencing more anxiety, you're experiencing more shame and embarrassment, that is an indication that work has to be done. And my last encouragement would be for you is to don't be afraid to taking the leap, to doing the work, to transforming, so that you and your mate could experience wholesome sexual intimacy. So listen, again, I'm Dr. Lila, and I look forward to coming back into the space with you on next week as we move forward into identifying the fifth thing that can interrupt wholesome sexual intimacy. So again, like and share. And remember to go over to our YouTube channel, A Better Marriage, where you will find additional resources so that you can build a relationship where there is freedom, there's love, and there's joy. And there is wholesome intimacy. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Take care.